from the classroom to the highest echelons of corporate leadership. This session aims to delve into the unique challenges, opportunities, and pivotal moments that define this path. On the panel, we have Bindu Muralidharan, Head of Human Resources, Merit Data and Technology, Gargi Paigaunkar, Director, Clinical and Statistical Programming, Johnson & Johnson, India, Shilpa Lahiri, Associate Director, Engineering Pubmatic, and the moderator for the discussion is Veena Mukund, AVP, Client Servicing, Avtar Group. This session is sponsored by Johnson & Johnson, and I'm happy to introduce the panelists. Bindu brings with her over 2 decades of experience in implementing robust people practices across various organizations. She's a leader with a strong penchant for HR transformations, strategic HR initiatives, hands-on experience in talent acquisition, etc. Gargi is a recognized leader with vast experience in developing and expanding clinical and statistical programming within the pharmaceutical industry in India. She has 23 years of experience and she began as a junior analyst in a market research firm. Shilpa is a seasoned IT leader and specializes in translating ambitious organizational goals into tangible engineering solutions. Her passion lies in translating visionary ideas. I'm happy to introduce the moderator, Veena. Veena Mukund has played a pivotal role in handling business development and client engagements at Avtar. Her expertise in recruitment has enabled her to successfully fill senior positions across diverse industries, showcasing a prowess in understanding the unique needs of the clients. Over to the panel now.
Thank you so much, Janani. After 3 power-packed panel discussions, I think the role or the responsibility in my shoulder is slightly heavier. With that note, it's my absolute pleasure and honor to welcome all the wonderful panelists, Bindu, Gargi, and Shilpa, to the very fascinating panel discussion, which is Journey from Classroom to C-Suite. Before getting into the panel, we would like to slightly deep dive into the data or the numbers. So at Avtar, we are very fond of data. So the Avtar and Cerebon, the best companies for women in India 2024, the flagship study that Avtar offers for the past 9 years, we talk about it is 37% of women representation of women in corporate companies, with corporate executives, women corporate executives at 18.73, which is the industry average. And if you are coming, industry, FMCG topped the list with 24.5, followed by BFSI tops the list followed by FMCG companies. So that is a bit of a data. The interesting fact is a lot of aspiring women are taking up roles, navigating, maneuvering their, ladders to reach that, pinnacle of success. So quickly, again, one more quote before I get into the panelist to ask you questions. One very interesting quote that myAvtar, who is the founder and chair of Nike Foundation and the Girl Effect, she talks about, contrary to the popular belief, the best way to climb to the ladder, is to take others along with you. Isn't it very true, especially talking about women, Bindu, Shilpa, and Gargi? So with that note, I'm getting into, the questions. I mean, let it be a very free-flowing, discussion, open to take, cue from each other, and we can have the conversation very lively. So for a change, let me ask a slightly different question to all the panelists, but definitely all these questions are interconnected. So Bindu, can you take the first question, being the head of HR for Merit? So the question is, what time or what role did you in your time in your classroom has helped you to handle or manage your challenges as a leader today you are? So I was going through a LinkedIn profile, Bindu, before I spoke to you the other day. You are a chartered accountant by qualification. You have donned the hat of a finance lead, handle multiple roles in multiple geographies, and currently heading HR for a technology company, right, Bindu? I'm sure you have a very interesting story to share. So would like to hear from you, Bindu, please. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I'm just very happy to be here with the esteemed panel, two other wonderful women. So thank you for the opportunity. But yes, it has been a nice journey. So yes, like you said, I've completed my CA and then moved abroad to US and Canada. And I was working in like cross-functional teams in Canada, where that's when I saw the impact that HR creates in an organization. So I gravitated towards HR, then came back to India, wanted to continue to be in HR and not go back to the numbers. Did my executive MBA in from XLRI, and just love being in HR. And I feel that the my finance and business background actually helped me in my HR role, to make a better impact both for the business as well as for the people. So I think it is only added to to my uh, what do you call it, skill set. Um, so the question you asked me was about
The
my time in the
classroom.
classroom and how has it prepared for challenges of leadership. So like you see in my journey, I've always been learning. So the classroom is, I think, I carry it with me. It's I feel that I actually firmly believe that learning never stops. In that sense, you're always in a classroom, and especially for leaders, because we're in such a changing world today, a world which is constantly changing. We don't know, 5 years from now how it's going to look. See, the way we work itself has changed. So it's good to have that agility, and that only if you keep learning, you grow. So, from the classroom, I would also say that things that we carry with us are things like collaboration and teamwork, which we learn in the classroom when we're doing projects with a group of people, where we learn the art of collaboration, negotiation, all of that. So that we carry with us. Problem solving is something we take from the classroom to our leadership roles. Dealing with change, all of this I think comes from the classroom, and we carry it with us in our leadership journey, and it only hones you as a better leader.
That quite interesting. The one thing that you spoke about, Bindu, that you upskilled, you touched upon upskilling very beautifully. Being a chartered accountant, taking the role of a HR professional, you upskilled yourself by doing an executive MBA from XLRI. So definitely, I'm sure that might have added to your whole HR skills altogether. The proof of the pudding is you are heading HR for an IT major now. So thank you so much for your valuable inputs, Bindu. Moving on to Gargi. So Gargi, by the way, dear all of you who are listening to this panel, we have a very diverse panel today. While Bindu heads the HR for a technology company, Gargi comes with a solid 25 plus years of experience working in pharma and related organizations, and of course, Shilpa, who is an engineering leader. So I'm very happy to talk to a very diverse panel. So coming back to you, Gargi, so you have worked close to 2 decades in an organization. I would like to call you as a homegrown leader. So you have climbed the ladder, you have maneuvered through various career stages in your life to reach the position today you are at Johnson heading the clinical and statistical programming. You are the director. So could you please talk from your experience? How did you manage to do so? What is the experience like? I mean, we would like to know from you, because you have worked in pharma organizations. I mean, predominantly, Gargi. Over
Yeah.
to you. Would like to hear from.
Okay, thanks a lot, and thanks, Avtar, to invite me to share this journey. So, yeah, I mean, I get this question a lot, especially from the younger generation, that how come you stayed in a company for so many years when it's not even a government job? Maybe something that we as our generation heard earlier. So, well, I think what kept me going, if you ask me, is something which Bindu touched on a bit. It depends on the upskilling and the reskilling of the various things that one person goes through in the organization. So reskilling basically means getting into new skills for different jobs, etc. Whereas upskilling is what you just discussed about. I think both are very essential for a career and the growth adaptability in a rapid changing workforce. the earlier one engages into such things, understands, I think it's good for your career to grow faster. Luckily, today in the organization I am in, I think they also invest a lot in both the skills, upskilling and reskilling, through various programs that they offer. And personally, if you ask me, I have been given opportunity more like an open canvas, as I call it, where I'm setting up this new team for J&J in India and being coached by the existing leaders over here. And J&J itself also provides a lot of programs which are mentorship based. You have grow assignments, as we call them, which link into all these reskilling, upskilling parts that we spoke about. And a very interesting thing, I was hearing into the earlier session, Veena, and we have a program called as Reignite in J&J, which is about women coming back after a gap of around 18 months to their careers into the organizations, and how we give them that platform. We support them through trainings, etc. And on completion of that program, we assess them, and some of them are even been turned into full-time jobs. So I think it's a great environment to be in. I think such efforts that companies are taking, just building up and piggybacking on the earlier panel session that I heard on, I think it's a great place to be in. And I think women today are recognized with whatever I've been hearing, efforts that companies are taking. I think we should just keep on building on it, if you ask me. And I'm one example of it, sitting over here talking about it.
Great. Great, Gargi. So I heard you, Gargi. This is quite interesting. The Reignite program, taking cue from Reignite. Can you hear me? All of you, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Taking cue from Reignite, at Avatar, we offer programs for women who are in their various career stages, Gargi, Bindu, and Shilpa. So two of such flagship programs are the Intentional Career Pathing, which is aimed at women who are at their mid-career stages, typically with 5 to 12 years of work experience. We talk about the triple M conundrum, right? The marriage, maternity, and motherhood. So how women, can use these tools, and we teach them skills and tools through a 3 months program where they can use these skills, to develop their networking skills, negotiation skills to reach the stage they are aspiring to reach. That is one program. The second one is exclusively for women leaders like you who are typically in the leadership stage, how you can use power as a very powerful or positive connotation towards your career development, how you can mentor or sponsor women who are aspiring to reach those stages, which is called the Pathways to Power. So very interesting. We're happy to know about the programs that J&J is offering, Gargi. So thank you so much for sharing your thoughts or insights. Moving on to you, Shilpa. When we spoke yesterday, you spoke about Pubmatic being an ad tech company. Ad tech company, really. So you are an engineering leader, Shilpa.
Yeah.
So again, a commerce graduate, completed your postgraduate diploma in computer application, then an MBA in masters in business
IT,
administration, and currently you are handling a big team. Heading. You are an engineering leader. So could you talk about your challenges or the turning points or the decision you might have taken in your early years of your career to reach the stage currently you are, Shilpa? Any tips, any thoughts to the younger generation will be highly helpful, Shilpa.
Yeah.
Happy to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. I mean, this is kind of a great opportunity for me, person like me coming from an engineering background, talking in this environment and this forum. I'm really, grateful to this opportunity at first. And if you ask me the turning point, yeah, of course, coming from a commerce background, getting into a postgraduate diploma in computer applications, I did that in 98, 1998, pretty long time back. But yeah, I had a vast coverage then. If you all know, the code languages that used to be trained in those days used to be C, C++, COBOL, FoxPro, Visual Basic, those kind of. Whereas today, if we talk, we are on, Gen AI, and that's totally different. And what I have learned from, so regularly upskilling is definitely what it takes to reach this level. Yeah, if you ask me the turning point, the kind of education that I did, my postgraduate diploma as well as the JBIMS MBA in IT were the pillars of my classroom, knowledge that I had to get into the technical as techno-functional, you call it, or managerial, knowledge that I bring in. One turning point I had in my life, which were taking breaks for my personal, personal agendas, like my family way, or moving to US with my husband. These were two different, risk taking, or you can say adventures that I did. Uh, it was well planned and calculated risk, I would say, rather than something that happened without knowing. It was well planned. What helped me was my family, family support, a strong help from them, as well as mentors who were there in my life. And I still do have good mentors who help me, with the help of coaching that they have to do, a lot of hand holding that they do. So all these things, really helped me in the risks that I had taken in my life, which were my turning points. So moving to US was definitely a big thing for me. Leaving a good career job here and going to the US to investigate whether, how would I get into. But yeah, I was a technical lead even in US, worked for 2 years, and I then came back to India when I then started working with Pubmatic. So uh, yeah, I had a diverse domain in which I was touching: insurance, a capital market, healthcare, and then finally ad tech. So ad tech was pretty new, 6 years now in ad tech. I wouldn't say I'm a master, but yeah, I mean, I had learned a lot in this niche, environment. Pubmatic is a company which actually helps you with hand holding. There are a couple of mentors which are from my own organization. They really helped me a lot to succeed. And definitely, I would share my success today to all these mentors and their hand holdings.
Very, very nicely put, Shilpa. So one major takeaway from what you spoke about is the calculated risks you took. When you took the break, it was quite intentional, right? And I would like to quote our founder, President Dr. Soundarya here. Women tend to take a break for all the right reasons, right? Whether it is for marriage or maternity, mobility, motherhood, so on and so forth. But what are you doing during this break? Are you upskilling? Are you doing a course to, especially in your, kind of profession that you are in, that is the IT and related, definitely you should brush your skills regularly. So,
Absolutely.
so happy to hear from you. So thank you
Yeah.
so much. And thank you, Shilpa. I will come back to you soon. Taking cue from that, the last panel, we spoke about redefining the role of work-life integration in remote working. One of the panelists, Mr. Sandeep Joshi from GOBP, was talking about how important is it to make the right connections. So, and there is a saying that, men are good at networking and women are not so good at networking. And that's the popular saying, but I definitely cannot agree with that statement. I'm sure you also will not agree with that. So, Bindu, I would like to ask you this question. So, what are the strategies you have taken, to build a professional network? Because you have worked in multiple geographies, you have worked in multiple functions, and currently you are, at Merit. Tips or tools or skills that you would like to talk about? I mean, how you have developed your professional network? Yeah, all
I'm
of you
happy
can
to
answer that. Yeah, yes, Bindu.
I'm happy to take that question because you're right. The perception is that men are good at networking and women aren't. Women are a bit hesitant to reach out to people. But I think that's changing. I think traditionally that was probably the way it started, but I think it's changing for sure. And it's important to build a good network because it helps you grow as a professional. I think first and foremost, that is the thing which I feel. So it's a place where if you network, you need to network to improve yourself. So you work on yourself, like we've all the the panelists said that they've all been in that learning journey. So I think we need to work on ourselves and become really good at what we do. And basically, so when you provide value, people seek you out And or if you're then approaching them for something, they respond more favorably when you want to connect with them, because you in your own mind are strong in your, in your profession, in what you do. So I think sharing those industry insights or recommendations that might benefit everybody in your connections, you got to give, is what, is what is important. It's not just about going to people when you need something. You should also be giving, so you should be also adding value in order to grow your network. I think that's very important. And like both Shilpa and Gargi mentioned about, how mentors have helped them. So I think at this stage we can help by being good mentors, while people who are starting off could probably look for mentors who will, who can help them with, and then, and then build your network. But they have to put in the work. It's not just about getting the connection. You have to be ready to work on yourself. So that is one. You have to be authentic. You have to be, be actually who you are. Then people engage with you. Unless you are sincere, people don't will not engage with you, right? So and again, what you bring to the table matters. So as I remember, when I was working as a consultant, I had the opportunity to like work with many business leaders, but and they remember your work, they remember your approach to work, which is your personal brand. So you have to build your personal brand before you can actually think of building a large network, because you have to stand for something, right? And networking isn't just always the level up. You can have a strong peer-to-peer network as well. It's not necessarily just senior leaders. So I reach out when, even in my HR journey, I used to reach out to my peers on different things, on maybe an initiative that I want to run, and I would look for who has done this in their organization. What were the red flags they had? What were the things that were successful? So you learn from each other, and they reach out if there is something that they feel that, so you've got to be open, helpful, and giving, I feel, in order to build a stronger network. And we have a lot of social media platforms like LinkedIn and all, which you can leverage, of course. But
Learning from each other is a very powerful statement,
yes.
Bindu. I think we all should practice it, Bindu. So thank you so much for the insights. And Gargi, what are your thoughts on, the strategies that you use to build in a powerful network, Gargi? Your experience. Yeah.
I think for me, it started with, or how do I put it? Maybe I was lucky to and fortunate to encounter several amazing mentors throughout my professional journey, and it just continued till today. And you can have various mentors. Yeah, it shouldn't just be one person. And so I have mentors within the organization, outside the organization, different verticals, globally also some of them, and I still am in connect with them. And why are they so important in my life? Is because I think they give you a perspective through their experience, and sometimes, as Bindu rightly put it, they can be your peers, but maybe through a different lens is what they have seen, and they give you that kind of advice or just a discussion which makes you think differently. So on this note, I would like to say that in my career I was really at a crossroad, and I was told that where do you want to go, Gargi? And when you're in that 20s and you're like lost, you don't know exactly where to look at. And that's where this powerful word as mentor in my life started. And I started looking up to this person. Still am in touch with him. And he just asked me, we just went into a discussion, asked me a couple of questions. And you know what? I think I had my answer after that discussion, which was just 10 to 15 minutes. Because they didn't take any decision for me. They just asked me certain things, which gave me clarity in terms of what I was maybe missing for looking at things, because maybe I had expertise or skills for both the areas, and that was confusing me. But the answer from that whole conversation was where your heart lies. What do I want to do? What will keep me happy? So today, when I have some people coming and asking me, I think I use that those set of questions which were asked to me, and I think that's how it should go. I think it's a very it helps giving clarity, and I think we tend to overthink, um, even sometimes now, where there are too many things happening which can lead to confusion. But these mentors, they serve like catalyst in helping clear that way for you and give you a direction. And I think having some and latching on to them throughout, I think that's the best way to go around. And age does not matter, gender does not matter, verticals do not matter. It can be a senior family member also for that matter. Yeah. So I think we shouldn't look at it in a very corporate sense, but I think the overall sense. Well, again, just to small thing over here, I think in JNJ, again, we have programs for mentorship, and we really push our people to go and choose your own mentors kind of a thing, and the profiles are sent out and things like that. So I'm sure other companies in Bindu's case and Shilpa's case also, some certain things like this might be done. And I think we should make use of those and not hesitate. Yeah. And again, a small thing on the personal branding. I think what you said so much resonated, Bindu. People look at your work, they remember you for what you bring to the table. That does not go off. And I think if you keep on building on that, people start knowing you for that. And then it's your personality, how you build over it again on to take it further. So I think that's what I would kind of say, that this is all interconnected. If you see, yeah, it starts with one thing, goes on to the next thing, and then you have to continue the journey, and it comes back then. So now we are in a position to now give it back. Yeah.
Can't agree more with you, Gargi, the importance of mentor in everyone's career. So mentorship and sponsorship is such powerful, things that we follow at every, that we should have a mentor, we should have a sponsor, especially when we are aiming to reach that level that our mind says, hey, this is not enough, definitely you should climb the ladder. For that, I should have a strong mentor, a sponsor in place. You beautifully covered it. Shilpa, I would like to ask you, how do you develop your, professional network? I mean, you also have moved from one geography to another, have taken a career break. So now an engineering leader. Quickly, your experience around professional networking. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I would like to share my experience when I understood uh, taking up tech lead low roles was the age when I understood, I should be having mentors, and there should be someone whom I can trust and talk to about my professional life, day to day complications, or day to day maybe deadlines, even talk anything and everything what I'm struggling. Talk like a friend, philosopher and guide. When I understood that, I started professional networking through various social media sites and everything. I mean, started with WhatsApp, just kind of getting into groups which will help me. One specific thing always try to become a bar or an obstacle for me was the teaching from our childhood: do not talk to strangers. Okay, that was fit in my brain so deep that I was very hesitant to talk to strangers about my professional work, what I do. Just send in a LinkedIn message and just start asking for a 10-15 minutes chat. It was just not happening for me, because generally girls especially are brought up with that: oh, do not talk to strangers when you go to school, when you go anywhere. So that stuck. So but slowly and gradually my mentors only helped me to build over that. I worked over it, started making friends. One thing I always appreciated, my mentors always helped me decide between both the paths. As Gargi was mentioning, there was a path where she had to decide which one to go, what. So they used to talk me through that situation and help me decide, okay, if you do this, what will happen 3 months down the line? How would you feel about it? What would you do after that? Once you achieve, if you're not comfortable right now about thinking about it, then might as well not go that way. So these kind of talks were there, and they were actually hand holding. The another important aspect that I felt about mentoring was they celebrate even small wins of yours, and they make it so special for you that they appreciate time and again, they appreciate your work, they appreciate what you did last week or last month. Whenever you go back to your mentors and talk, they ask you what didn't work well, what worked well, the reflection, you know the reflection of your work, they help you actually handhold. So that also worked very well with me, and that made me keep my focus on where I want to go, what I want to do, what I did well. Oh, we decided this how we would do it, but I went off track. So why did I go off track? So then talk through it, find out the problems, and come back on track. So these were the things, the mentors also asked me to write down the plans about how do you spend your day. So starting from that, uh, it was total hand holding journey that I had with mentors. But yeah, when you ask me, somewhere 10 years before this place where I am, I wasn't very comfortable talking to strangers or making friends, or making mentors themselves. So I wasn't that friendly or open to people. But now, yeah, I have grown that way.
Good to know that. Thank you so much for sharing your perspectives, Shilpa. So I might sound a bit old school, but other than the social media connections, that all of us are in today, I always believe in the word of mouth, and you should believe, and it has worked wonders for me. And also another thing is, I think, another panelist also spoke about it in the last panel. Nothing wrong in asking. If you want something, you definitely have to ask. If you're not, it's it may sound cliche, it is a very old statement, but still it is very, very important, very relevant. You should ask. If you need something, if you should ask, otherwise things will not happen. So thank you so much for sharing that. I think, the personal branding bit of it, all of you shared during, the discussions we had. So as a final question, and then I can open it to questions, if any. As leaders in all of you, no particular order, anyone can take the question. What are, one or two challenges that you have faced as a women leader? And what are the steps have you taken, to overcome those obstacles? Any one of you, Gagi, Bindu, or Shilpa can take it.
I would like to go first if everyone is
Sure,
okay.
Shilpa. Yeah.
Yeah, I faced a lot of challenges because I think I moved geographies, and also in those days there were less of women in the room. Like whenever I used to walk into meetings, I used to always be lonely. I mean, single woman in the herd of 20 gentlemen sitting out there. So those kind of scenario was very common in my early days of career, and I felt uh, various situations where in my earlier companies or companies I used to hear from my friends, there were gender bias scenarios that were happening. So when i when I used to face those things, like I could give one example where I was employed as a technical lead with around 32 developers below me. That was one of the companies before Pragmatic. A bit little earlier, in somewhere in 2013, was the situation. How would I was a single lady in the complete team. So how would I go ahead and make my subordinates talk to me and feel comfortable with me? So I it was really challenging for the first entire month. My manager was asking to get to the plans, and I was not even able to talk to them. Forget about getting plans from them. So and these technical leads were all like, say, around 13 to 14 years of technical experience. So it was very challenging to go ahead and break the barriers and talk to them. One thing I did, I don't know whether that was correct or not, I started taking small tea breaks with them. you know I used to tell them, hey, whenever you guys go for a break, just ping me. I didn't have any other agenda, but I just thought, okay, let me take off work breaks with them. Let me figure out what they are comfortable talking with, what are the topics that they would love to talk, they would be comfortable, and then I would, make friends with them. So that went a long way, actually. And now, since 2013, I still have all those 9 technical leads and architects friends with me in LinkedIn and all other areas, WhatsApp. They even call me for any problems that they face. You know, I really feel that that move was really great, needed, and the barrier to move. But yeah, I mean, gender bias is something which I faced in my earlier companies. Touch wood, I didn't see that happening in my current job. I'm so very happy. I'm right now leading a team of 42. My allies and my subordinates, they are really great, all men. So whenever I have to take a break, unexpected break, some emergency at home, I just have to slack them and let them know, hey, I wouldn't be available for the next 2 days, and everything is taken care of. So I really rely on them. They are real allies that I have, and they are real advocates of women in tech and all these other things that I do. It's because I could rely on them, and strong support.
Thank you. I was calculating the math, Shilpa. That is 2013, 11 years back, you were having 32 developers below you. Wow, awesome. So, Bindu, yes, Bindu, over to you. We can keep our
Yeah.
responses for a minute or so, Bindu, and because we
Yeah,
should,
yeah.
over to
So,
you. Bindu.
what Shilpa said really resonated with me, because not just in India, again, when I was in a global team as well, there are many times when I'm the only woman in the room. And, I found that. But I feel that it doesn't matter, even if you're the only female voice in the room, we need to use our voice, so whatever it is, going, showing up at the meeting or the presentation, be prepped well, do the hard work, but don't be humble and quiet. I think we need to speak up, we need to be heard, because you're there just as much as anybody else. You have the right to be there, and don't waste that opportunity. Be heard, let your voice be heard. And I feel so I'm very lucky now to be in a company where we are 63% of the senior leadership team, which is reporting to the MD, is women, and all in very male dominated roles like sales, so head of sales, head of technology, head of data operations, all women are sitting in, the C-suite, which is 63%, which is unheard of. So very something we're very proud of. And we have a lot of I'll just talk about one particular initiative that we have in Merit, where the women of Merit get together every 2 months on anything. Like, we share stories. It's called Original Anecdotes, where we share our stories, the challenges, the difficulties, and how we overcame them, and the triumphs. So it's a place, it's a safe space for women without any judgment. Share and learn from each other. So it's such a nice environment that is created. 42% of our people are women. But it's such a lovely environment for them to, learn from each other, no judgments, just be there to support each other through whatever they're going through. So
Wonderful.
that's
Great.
challenge.
63% and 42% is quite inspiring. I mean, Bindu, thank you so much. And Gargi, over to you.
Mm, I think most of the things, so I'm been lucky compared to maybe Shilpa and Bindu, where I had a lot of female colleagues right from the beginning of this whole concept of clinical and statistical programming in India. And we had a lot of statisticians who were females, and that's how we came on board in my earlier company. And if you see, even now, we are almost around 50-50 in the data operations and analysis part, as we call it in our pharma domain. So I didn't have those kind of challenges. My challenges were more about how to get, maybe because we were new in India, how to get different kind of things in India, roles in India, work in India. And that's where, having that enterprise view, having the right mentors from that levels to help you, guide you to go through various things. And then I think at the end of the day, once you have done all the homework, you go prepared, you should have some patience also. Things do not happen just overnight. Yeah. So you have to have that patience. But what all is needed is the right guidance, taking a step back, having a balcony view. I still do that. I think it helps me a lot, because sometimes you just see very much close to your eyes and you don't see the whole big picture, why a certain person is thinking in a certain way. I think that's very important. Um, Plugging in the right connections that you have, the network that we have built over the years, to use that to understand the situation maybe better, and then going and pitching. I think those were the challenges for me, and that's how I've worked around it, and continuing to work with J&J on those lines. And I think it's going well.
Gargi, that is fantastic. And I think, time is up and really would love to continue this conversation. Before we wind up, I mean, a piece of suggestion for all these aspiring women who are, very keen on reaching, taking leadership roles. One word, Gargi, from your
Have
side.
fun. Have fun.
I like it.
That's
I
my
like it.
mantra. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Bindu?
I think inspire.
Okay. Very
I would
loaded
like
word,
to-
but very
You have to
inspiring.
inspire others, and then you
Inspire
become
yourself and
inspired.
inspire others. Wow.
Others.
Shilpa?
Yeah, I would like to say set clear goals for yourself, no matter how early it is in your, even if you're fresher. Set clear goals, what you want to do in life in next 1 year, next 2 year, 5 year. Seek for help, seek for mentorship as early as possible. Keep yourself a student all through your life, and of course bounce back. So resilience is the word. So no matter
Wow.
whatever happens, just bounce back.
A student forever. Like it.
Everybody has the learning as a
Curve.
continuous,
Yes.
constant theme.
Learning
Question.
curve. Absolutely. And thank you. But Janani, do you have questions or shall we call it a day? Over to you, Janani.
Not many, Veena. No.
Okay. Okay.
No question.
Sure. Thank you so much, my dear panelists. It was lovely connecting with you, speaking with you, exchanging your thoughts, and look forward to hosting you all for another, session like this. And thank you so much and have a great evening. Thank you so much. On to you,
Thank
Janani.
you,
Thanks,
Veena.
Veena.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, panelists. And that brings us to the end of the discussion. So you would have observed how beautifully we segued from maternity power to confidence gap to work-life integration and ended it with a journey to leadership.